want to change your life, you have to speak directly to that victim inside of you and tell that victim to get out of there. And say, that's not me. That will never be me. I'm not a victim. I'm a powerful human being who has opportunities, who has tools, who has the ability to change my story. Hi guys, T. Davis Cole here. And today the training is going to be about the 4 pillars of success. All right, so there are 4 pillars. And today I'm going to focus on one, and that is personal development, okay? So personal development is just you working on yourself more than anything else, okay? So you want to work on yourself more than anything else. All right, so when you are beginning a personal development journey, you definitely want to increase your PVL. All right, so what is PVL? PVL is your personal value level. Okay, so the personal value level. And when you do increase your personal value level, it does help you develop strong leadership skills and also assist you with becoming a strong person of influence. And when you're a person of influence, you help people get results in their life and you help transform the lives of the people around you. All right, so the personal value level is something that we're going to talk about a little bit more as we get into pillar 1. And that's just part 1 of this training. We're going to go a little bit deeper into the personal value level. But again, you know, being a leader it definitely requires you to be a leader of yourself first. You must first be able to lead yourself and to have those values, to have a system that works for you. And so once you are able to do that, then it is definitely going to gleam from your life and influence, again, the people around you and influence and cause a transformation in the lives of those around you, okay? So Les Brown said, your best thinking has gotten you exactly where you are today. All right, so your best thinking has gotten you exactly where you are today, simply saying that on your best day, it has landed you where you are. So if you're not happy where you are, then you're going to need to get some new information, right? Because the information that you have has led you to the thinking that you have, which has led you to the actions that you have taken, which has gotten you exactly where you are. So when you do transform your mindset and begin to develop your thinking and get some new information about things, Jim Rohn said you need to develop some new philosophies about life, right? So when you begin to develop some good, strong, positive philosophies about life and develop a new mindset, then you know you can end up in a different place, a place that you want to be. All right, so let's talk about PVL. I'll give you some tips on raising your personal value level. And when you do raise your personal value level, it does help you have a new mindset. All right, and so when you do get that new mindset, you get yourself into a different life. Okay, so in order to raise your personal value level, some of the things you could do is read books, listen to audios, attend webinars, since it is kind of difficult to go to seminars right now. All right, get a mentor, someone that you look up to, and meditate and even journal. Okay, so we're going to start with books. So we do know that leaders are readers, right? Leaders are readers. You may want to write that down. Leaders are readers. So, you know, there are a lot of philosophies out there about reading. One of them is that someone who is driven, is successful, they read about 8 books a month. Now that is good, but at the same time, 8 books a month could be equivalent to you spending 30 days with 1 book, right? Because, you know, sometimes it's not how much information you consume, but it is about the value that you get out of the information that you consume. It's about how much of it you actually put into action and how much of it you actually absorb and understand. And I do believe in putting information in your system over and over and over again until it becomes a part of your fiber, until it becomes a part of your being, until it's something that you sleep and breathe and it's a part of who you are. So you can, spend a lot of time with a little bit of information and get all of the great things out of that information so that you can have that transformation. All right. So then listening to audios could be audiobooks, but it also can be podcasts and different things like what you will find on this website, like Wealthy Mindset audios. And it's like integrating those things into your mind and into your heart and into your soul so that you can get up and accomplish something in your life that you really want to accomplish. When I first started my online entrepreneurship journey, I would fall asleep with headphones on. I would wake up and I would exercise with headphones on. I had headphones on all of the time, and I was listening to all of the different things that was shaping my mind and helping me build a great mindset. And some of the things that I was doing was listening to the same audios over and over again. I was listening to Tony Robbins and Les Brown and Jim Rohn. And there were a few of their teachings that had specific parts in it that was really helping me change my life. So instead of skipping on to something new, I would listen to those over and over again, the trainings that was really resonating with me and making a difference in my life. So again, you don't always have to get new information when it comes to, getting a new book. You're getting new information because you're changing your mindset with something someone else thinks, someone else who has the life that you want, right? So you are transforming your life and you are changing your life by listening to something that they are saying. But at the same time, you're spending a lot of your time with the information that's resonating with you and that's helping you build the lifestyle that you want. All right. So attending webinars, that's another great way to develop your mind, to build yourself up, right? And raise your PVL. Okay. So you can do that by registering for webinars. A lot of times here at T. Davis Co's Online Services, there's webinars. There's places for you to sign up and get on and meet live and mastermind and get some new information that can help you transform your life and help you build your business. All right. And then also finding a mentor, right? So one of the things that I did find a mentor or two that I was really following and listening to and completing their assignments and doing the things that led them to the lifestyle that they had. So whenever you are looking for a mentor, you definitely don't want to follow everything, every new thing, right? Because if you don't focus your time and focus your energy, then you'll find yourself all over the place, and then you'll find yourself overwhelmed and consumed with so much information that you can't implement any of the information to get any results. So when I'm talking about mentoring, that could just simply be logging in daily, right? Logging in here, getting some new information, getting yourself and your mindset in a place that's going to help take you to new levels, okay? And then meditating. And meditating doesn't have to be this weird thing where you sit cross-legged with your eyes closed and, your fingers touching, right? You can meditate just laying in your bed, just being quiet, lay down a little bit early and just give your mind some time to assess what's happened in your day, what's going on in your life, to think about your relationships, to go ahead and start to think about where you want to be and what it's going to take to get there. Visualize yourself taking the actions that's going to get you the life you want. If you were trying to lose weight, right, you would visualize yourself eating something healthier or feeling healthy or getting out, going for a run or doing something you enjoy, taking a dance class. Visualize yourself in the same sense of building your business and getting results and all of the difference that you're going to make in the people, in their lives of the people that you actually come in contact with. So meditating can just be you sitting there visualizing your life in a new light and seeing yourself in a new way, closing your eyes, being quiet, just spending time in quietness, right? It doesn't, again, have to be some weird place where you have to sit with your legs circled and all of these different things. Also, journaling. And I was kind of hesitant about putting that in there because sometimes when you give out too much of some things to do, people get overwhelmed, and I don't want that to happen to you. But journaling can just be you simply just taking some notes about what came to your mind when you were meditating, or just writing down some goals or something that you definitely want to achieve this week, or even something you want to achieve today. If you're listening to this and it's at nighttime, then just jot down something that you want to get done tomorrow. Like today, one of the things I wanted to get done was I wanted to make sure I got my workout in. And then I also wanted to create this training today. So that is a good way to journal and just, like I said, find something that you can do that is achievable, right? And then just set those small goals, because when you get those small wins every single day in your life, that can lead to a bigger win. Okay, so again, listening to those books or reading books, attending webinars, signing up for something that can help you develop your life, help you build your business, help you find out who you are and reach some goals that you're trying to reach. Finding a mentor, like I said, mentoring could simply be just logging in here daily and getting the information that's going to help you transform your life, taking the steps, right, that you need to take so that you can see the results that you want to see. And meditation, again, is just taking that quiet time to analyze where you are, where you want to be, and what's going to take to get there. And journaling could just be writing down those small steps that you're going to take to get some results. Okay, so and when you are looking for books, pick a book by the title that suggested might help, right? It doesn't have to be anything all deep, but if you're new to building businesses on the internet, or you're new to launching a blog, or you're here because you're trying to reevaluate why you started the business in the first place, sometimes it's good to go back to a book. You've probably already heard of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't, it is a great starter book for any entrepreneur, anybody who is trying to achieve something great in life. So that is a really good one. And if you claim, like I used to for so many years, I read that book. Well, I would definitely just sit down and try to jot down some of the key points from the book, some of the things that were really helpful to you. And if you can't come up with any of those things, then read it again. Go back and read it again. So in the description here or in the notes somewhere, you'll see a link, and the link will lead you to a free audio club. And what it is, it's free for 30 days, right? When you use my link, you can get it free for 30 days. And you could go ahead and start listening to a book tonight, right? You could go ahead and start listening to a book today. And don't worry, again, about rushing through the material. Take your time and make sure that you're absorbing it. Make sure that it is becoming a part of your being, becoming a part of who you are. Make sure that you are getting the key elements out of the book, and that you are applying those elements so that you can get those results. So again, look in the notes, however you're watching this or listening to this, look in the notes and go ahead and grab that link. Go ahead and get your 30-day free trial so that you can start listening to something today that is going to help you reach your goals and change your life, and even raise your personal value level. Okay, so when you do raise your personal value level, you begin to get what I call results, right? Because a new mind equals a new earth. So have you ever thought about the fact that people, they walk around every day and everybody is having a different experience? Jim Rohn said the sun rises and it sets on all of us. The rain falls and it dries up on all of us. There's always winter, there's fall, there's spring, and there's summer, right? So in a sense, we all have an opportunity to have a quality of life on this earth. And have you ever wondered why it's so different for some people? Some people are, living the epitome of success and fulfillment, and they live in the land of plenty, while others struggle to just make ends meet, and their mindset is deprived of hope and faith. So it is because of the mentality, right? So it is whatever you think about all the time, that is the earth that you will be presented to you. Whatever you believe that you can have, that is the earth that will be presented to you, right? Have you ever noticed when you go to buy a new car, even if you haven't even purchased the car yet, you begin to see that car everywhere you go, right? And that is because you raise your consciousness to accept the idea of that car into your reality. So once you raise your consciousness and you're aware that you can have something new, something different, then you begin to see that in your life, right? You ever notice when you get into a new relationship, right? And you're enjoying that relationship, you start to see couples hugging or holding hands more when you go out. When you go to the store, you start noticing families and different things of that nature because you have raised your consciousness to allow that into your experience. So when you raise your consciousness, you're giving yourself an opportunity to have a new mind and a new earth. And how do you raise your consciousness? Through doing those things that we talked about before, okay, on the previous notes there. So then as you raise your consciousness, you shift your energy. And when you shift your energy attracts different things. You begin to attract new opportunities, new people in your life. And you can attract the beauty that you so desperately want in your life. You can attract that passion and that vision. And you can attract, that successful business and whatever else it is in your life that you're wanting to achieve, right? So you can grow and you can evolve when you raise your consciousness, when you raise your PVL, when you begin to open your mind to some new information so that you can have a new realization of what is possible for you on the same earth that we all live on. And that opens the door to new experiences, okay? All right, so you got to think about how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? So if you really do want it really bad, right, then you would build the mentality that can help you get it, right? So you got to build the mental engine that can handle the speed of the life you want. All right, so build the mental engine that can handle the speed of the life you want. Okay, so that is what that means is that, if you want to go really, really fast, right, you probably can't have the engine of a Volkswagen, right? You're going to need an engine of a faster car. So if you want your life to operate on new levels and have new dimensions and have new experiences, then you're going to need a new processor, a new mind, a new mental, something that develops you mentally, okay? So you're going to need a new way of thinking to get to that level, okay? All right, so did you know that only 10% of your mind is conscious and the other 90% is subconscious, okay? So 90% of what you believe was programmed before you were 6 years old. So again, let's go over that again. Only 10% of your mind is conscious and the other 90% is subconscious. So 90% of what you believe was programmed before you were 6 years old. Now, when I heard that, I was like, that's messed up. That's messed up. I didn't even have a chance. That's what I thought. But you can develop your consciousness, okay? You can develop your consciousness so that you can have a higher level of consciousness. And when you have a higher level of consciousness, right, you can override subconsciousness. And so that is not very easy. It is those steps that we did talk about. That's reading, developing your mind, getting mentorship, starting to open your mind to new possibilities and new ways of thinking so that you can override, the subconscious mind. Because again, that subconscious mind has been developed since you were an embryo. And did you know that your body, your whole mindset is set up to survive the environment that you were born into? Right? So it's not much different than the hunter-gatherers, right? So, they had attributes that would help them be better hunters and be better gatherers when it was necessary to go out and hunt for food every day. So in the same sense, you were born from, the different things that you heard when you were in your mother's womb, from the time that you were a baby and you were in your environment, whether they had a lot of food or they didn't have a lot of food, or they had resources or didn't have resources. Your mentality was set up for you to survive because, in times past, people did, remain with their family for years and years, right? They remained, around their families, or at least in the same, environment in which they were born, whether it was the same community or whatever. But now more than ever, with the internet and other opportunities that we have, we can change our reality because we have access to more opportunity to do so. However, it doesn't change the fact that the subconscious mind is still stuck in the reality in which it was born in, and it still thinks that it needs to protect you and help you survive that environment. But if that is not the lifestyle that you want or the environment that you want to be in, then you will need to develop your consciousness to a higher level so that you can operate out of your conscious mind versus the subconscious mind that was handed to you from, however you were raised or the environment you were raised in. All right, so you can make your reality. You make your reality. And so again, that's what I'm saying. Today, there's more opportunity than ever to make your reality. Right? So, you can delete the damaged data. Delete the data in your mind that doesn't serve you anymore. And the way you do that is also through the steps that we talked about: reading, going to webinars, getting mentorship, listening to audios, all of those things. But you also have to be aware of what you are thinking. There's a book by Joyce Meyer, called The Battlefield of the Mind. It's an excellent read because it does go into how to do this. So what happens is, whenever a negative thought comes to your mind, you have to challenge that thought with the new mindset that you're developing. Right? So you are just saying, I refuse to listen to this negative self-talk. I refuse to agree with this thought because this is no longer who I am. I believe it was a lady named Marissa. I can't think of her last name, but she is a personal development coach, or she does help people, overcome the old, subconscious mind and develop new consciousness. So I know that's what she does, but her name is Marissa. And she definitely talks about how you have to say to those thoughts, that is no longer me. That will never be me. That is not me. Right? So you tell yourself that, right? When the thought comes to your mind and says, I'm never going to have, then you come right back in with your thought to say, with your conscious thought, right? The subconscious thought is saying, I'm never going to have, because that's what it knows. The conscious thought is a practice behavior where you come in with that conscious thought and you say to that thought that said, I'm never going to have, you say, I will have, right? I will have A, B, and C, because that is not me. That will never be me, right? So you have to literally disassociate yourself from the past thoughts and ideas that are no longer serving you. Now, again, like I said, if you were raised in that home with two loving parents who taught you everything that you needed to be successful and you are where you want to be in life, then I would say, it's okay to go to that default program, maybe do a little upgrades or whatever. But at the same time, if you have had a detrimental past, like I did, growing up in the foster care system, being on my own at 15, 16 years old, being a teen mom, was a high school dropout, and I had to program my mind to say, regardless the fact that I was a teen mom, I'm going to go back to school, pull myself up by the bootstraps, was able to go back, get my bachelor's degree, and was able to have a whole career even before I started my business, and just deciding that, no, this is not me. That will never be me, right? I will, be what I want to be. So I had my conscious and my subconscious constantly fighting each other. So it was a process, but I, decided that I'm going to go with my consciousness, and I'm going to develop the person that I want to be, and I will not be subdued by something that was programmed before I was even old enough to have a say in it. Okay. So then, in order to do that, you need to reprogram your mind. And you do that by the steps we already talked about. That's reading the books, listening to the audios, listening to webinars, logging in here, committing to log in every single day, and doing these steps, right? Just doing the steps that's going to take to reprogram your mind. Then you need to educate yourself. And educating yourself is a little different from just reading books and listening to audios. Educating yourself is saying, I'm going to learn how my brain works, right? I'm going to understand the supplements that I need to take. You guys, I take supplements every day to help all those neurons and different parts of my brain work properly. You need that B12, you need that vitamin D. You might need to go to your doctor, get a test to see where you're deficient so that you can take the supplements, because sometimes it's just simple, a simple lack of supplements that is causing you to feel not motivated. It's something in your brain that's not connecting. So you need to understand, the different vitamins and supplements and nutrition that you need for your body to operate. Then you need to educate yourself on metaphysics and the subconscious mind and on the unconscious mind and the conscious mind. You need to understand how the environment that you're around and the decisions that you're making is affecting your overall life and how it is manifesting things into your life. So do the work, right? Get, that audio subscription, right? And start studying this stuff. We're going to be talking about it a lot on this, in this program here. We're going to be discussing this a lot. So be committed, log in, read the posts, do all of these steps, complete all of, the training so that you can educate yourself on how everything's working together to create your reality and how you make your reality when you understand what's happening and you're able to do what you need to do to make what you want happen, okay? And then you have to practice consciousness. And practicing consciousness is just what I said a minute ago. And that is being aware of your thoughts. Now, if you do have a bad thought or two, it's not going to throw your whole life into this whirlwind. But you do want to be careful as far as what you're thinking and how you respond to what you're thinking. And remember, always tell yourself the story you want. I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care. I have been in situations, I've been a homeless, I still kept telling myself this story, when that subconscious mind comes and it says, oh, this is your life, right? This is all you know. That's all you've seen. You were a teen mom. No, that is not me. That will never be me, right? Because why? Because I didn't use that as an excuse, right? I kept doing the things that I needed to do to change my story, right? So tell yourself a different story. How do you tell yourself a different story? You tell yourself a different story by refuting the subconscious mind that are telling you the things that are no longer serving you, but also taking the action to create a different story. So now that thought can't come to me and say, oh, you were high school. You can't tell me I was a high school dropout anymore because I have my bachelor's degree. And you can't tell me, that I'm just this poor single mother because I was able to go and start my own business. So now it's getting to the point where the past subconscious mind no longer has that authority and doesn't even have the verification to even come at me with those stories, because I'm telling myself a different story. I'm doing the work to create a different story, and I am creating a different story, right? Again, that is not me. That will never be me, right? This is who I am, and this is the actions that I've taken to become this person, and this is what I will be, right? So that is what you have to do, guys. And so then in order to do that, you have to develop new behaviors, right? So you can't just tell yourself that is not me, that will never be me, when if it comes to your mind, or you're just fat, right? That comes to your mind, you can say, that's not me, that will never be me. And guess what? You get up then and you go work out. You get up then and you say, you know what? I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to give up that, right? Guys, I had to give up Oreo cookies. I was eating like packs of Oreo cookies ridiculously, like every day. And I'm still in rehab. I'm a recovering Oreo cookie addict or chocolate addict. So it's not saying that I'll never have it again. I have not completely overcome it to the point where I could say, oh, I'm in the clear. But every day when that story comes to me, oh, you need some Oreo cookies, guess what I went and got? I went and got me some chocolate protein cookies. And then I tell myself, that's not me, that will never be me. And then I open a chocolate protein cookie that has 16 grams of protein, has good complex carbs, it has fiber, but it's still chocolate, and I eat that instead. So what I'm telling you is that you have to get the new behavior that is going to transform and change your life, so that you can tell yourself a different story. You can have the evidence to refute your story. And then at some point, your subconscious mind is going to have to say, I don't even know who this person is. I got to reevaluate. So now the conscious mind is operating more because the subconscious mind don't know what to do with you. Right? Then eventually, as you continue to sink these new ideas, these new philosophies, these new behaviors, these new programs into your mind, your subconscious mind will eventually have to update, right? It'll have to update so that it can keep up with who you're becoming. Okay? All right. So every choice matters. So in this process, it is crucial, the choices that you make. And even if you make a bad choice, acknowledge that it was a bad choice. So the more you acknowledge that it was a bad choice, and then you decide that's not me, that will never be me, and you make a different choice, guess what? Your story is going to change. So don't beat yourself up when you don't make the best choices, but decide that I'm going to acknowledge that was not a good choice, right? Sitting there eating 2 packs of Oreo cookies in a day. I'm talking about the family size, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Family size. And justifying it, right? It wasn't until I got real with myself and said, you know what? This is a bad choice. It's bad for your teeth. It's bad for your health. It's bad for everything. And all that sugar and everything else, right? So, right? You got to tell yourself this is a bad choice. Every day when I woke up and wasn't going to school or wasn't working on my business or whatever phase of my life I was in. So if you're in a phase where you're still going to school, or you're in a phase where you're just starting your business, or you're in a phase where you're just like, everything's a mess. Like, I started my business and now I don't even understand why I started it. And I have all these bad habits. Guys, all of these habits matter, from your health to your consciousness to your spirituality. We're going to get into all of this throughout this course. Again, we're just on pillar 1, but we're going to go through all of this because all of this stuff matters, and it does have a lot to do with your overall outcome. So by choice, you become who you want to be. And by program, you are by default who you are. So I'm going to read this again, and you may even want to write this down because you got to catch that, okay? By choice, you become who you want to be. And by program, you are by default who you are. So let's start with default. By default, you are who you are. So that is by default, your subconscious mind was developed before you were 6. So by that program and by default, that's what you got. But if you choose that I want to do something more, something different, I want to be a different person than what I got by default. Now, I'm not saying you can blame everything on your parents, because you can't, because you're still making these choices, right, every day that is developing your life. So let's not go that deep to say every single thing was, the fault of what happened before you were 6. But the point that I'm making is that, by default, it is whatever your subconscious mind, whatever story it tells you, whatever, you were programmed to believe, whatever environment you were designed to be in, that's by default. But when you make a choice, you become who you want to be. Okay? So who do you want to be? Write that down. Who do I want to be? And then when you go to your quiet time, think about that. Think about that. Okay, so you do the work to change. And so this is why anytime someone comes to me for advice about something, I listen and then I give them an action, because I understand that it is up to them to do the work. Now, some people may not have an idea of what the work might be. So you have to assess what you want. Again, go through those different steps there, begin to do the work, listen to the audios, the books, get a mentor, commit to this program. So, because we're doing more than just building online businesses, right? We're doing so much more than that. Like I said, we moved past that. We are moving into transformation. We're moving into operating our lives and our business with power and passion. We're moving forward into becoming something great and having that energy transmit out into this world and being able to transform people in their lives and make a difference in this world and make a difference in our businesses and the people that come in contact with our businesses. This is going to be a living, breathing business. This is going to be a real live, opportunity and process. So you want to make sure you commit so that you can do the work. Do the work, because your life is a collection of the decisions you've made, whether by choice or by default, right? It is a collection of the decisions that you have made, okay? So that is something you may want to even write down. So in this process, you want to remember to be mindful of your words. Everything that you speak out into the atmosphere has power. It has a power to transform, transition. There's been studies done on water and even on rice. One of the studies was someone had put some water out, spoke negative words over one jar of water, and then froze that water into crystals, spoke positive words over another jar, and then froze that into crystals, ice crystals. The jar that had been spoken over negatively, the crystals were just ugly and crumbled looking. But the jar where positive words had been spoken, the crystals were beautiful and thriving. In the same sense, there was a rice study done. You could probably Google a rice study, negative and positive speaking over rice or something. I don't know, because I don't know the name of the study, but I remember reading it a while back. And it was talking about, the rice that had been spoken over positively remained, really good rice. And then the rice that had been spoken over negatively turned molded and all of this stuff. So there's studies out there to prove that your words have power. But not only that, think about some of the people that you look up to. Think about some of the legends that you have, maybe you've watched, like Tony Robbins, or, different people that you may admire, and watch their behaviors. You don't see them being negative or gossipy or just, having a lot of ugly words to say. They always saying something, that is going to build a better reality. Okay. So that is important. Be mindful of what you say. Even if you think it, remember, it is your choice. One of the things that you have to do is let go of the victim mentality in order to really speak positive words, because for a long time I was stuck on the victim mentality, and I liked my victim, my victim story. Now, do I tell my story? I tell my story only if it's going to uplift, empower, or help someone. But at one point I would just, every time I would try to do better, I would think, I would sink into this sadness inside, and I would be like, oh, I'm such a victim, and da 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 da, but if you want to change your life, you have to speak directly to that victim inside of you and tell that victim to get out of there. and say, that's not me. That will never be me. I'm not a victim. I'm a powerful human being who has opportunities, who has tools, who has the ability to change my story. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's when you get up and you listen to something positive, or you do something else that's going to shift your mindset. So what I am going to do is somewhere in the notes, and it may be at the end of the training, because what I don't want to do is put a whole bunch of things that's going to distract you from the whole process, from the different steps that we're taking here. So maybe at the end, when we've gone through the 4 pillars, there'll be some resources. And in those resources, I will put, my little pamphlet on how to overcome the victim mentality, because that is very important, because you may not realize it, but you could be addicted to your victim feeling and your victim story. So in order to be powerful, you have to take away all of your excuses. In order to see results in your life, you have to remove your attachment to the victim feeling that you get when you sink into the reasons why you're not successful. Okay. And so another thing that you want to do is you want to create inspiration. And so no matter where you are in your life, you might not be where you want to be. It doesn't even matter where you are. I mean, there were times, like I said, where I've gone through homelessness, times when I've slept in a hotel, but the reality was I would put things that inspire me around me, whether it's a candle or, certain pillows or a vision board behind me to remind me of who I am, to remind me of where I'm going in my life. Right? So they have these online vision boards that you can create now, but I just like the old plain paper vision board that I could just glue stuff on and remind myself of, the person that I am. Right? Regardless of what it looked like around me, I knew that I was coming out of that, and I knew that I was going to create the life I wanted. So again, I had the vision board behind my computer, candle right next to me that smelled good, that was inspiring me. I would listen to stories of the people that inspired me. I would begin to create the behaviors that some of the most successful people that I looked up to were doing. So that's again, creating that inspiration. Don't just give in to your environment. You may be thinking, I live with somebody and, the environment is negative and, I can't control what they do and what they say. I have a solution for that, because I've been there too. I've had to live in the house with 10 people in my lifetime. It's happened in my lifetime. Again, I was a teen mom. I've gone through many transitions in my life, as a teen mom, and I didn't always have the money for the rent, so I've gone through that homelessness and all of that. And I have lived in a house with people where there was so much going on in one house, 10 people, one bathroom. I got me some headphones, and I began to listen to books, and I would be walking around listening to a different story, even though another story was playing out right before my eyes. Now, in this process, I wasn't a teen at that time, but I had gone through a transition, gone through a divorce. I was moving into a new house, and before all of that, I had to save up some money, so I had to stay with live in a place, where I wasn't in control of the environment. And then I found the beauty in where I was. Even though it was a lot of people in the house, everyone cared about me. They cared enough about me to have me there. I did my part when it came to cleaning or whatever. I participated in whatever the culture of the house was. I made sure that I didn't disrupt that culture. And showed a lot of appreciation to whatever I could find that was beautiful around me. People loving you, people, talking to you the best way they know how. It might not be the way you communicate, but it is how they communicate. So you need to respect that, but at the same time, spend hours and hours and hours listening and seeing something else, working on your vision, have on your headphones. So again, I don't know what your situation is, but even if you're in the best situation and you have everything, as far as house, clothes, you have your own space or whatever, but you're just not inspired to work on your business, you feel drained or whatever the case is, find that inspiration, to put it around you so that you can see it every day, so that when you do go to work on your vision, you have something to be inspired by. So no matter what it is, whether you are in a situation where you've lost everything, you're living with people, you're not in control environment, you can grab some headphones, you can create whatever your little space. I don't care if you just have an air mattress and whatever, you can make that little air mattress up and put a little candle by the window and, you know, have your headphones on at night playing a different story. I'm gonna snap my fingers in this audio. I'm snapping my fingers. I'm snapping my fingers. I'm snapping my fingers. Why am I snapping my fingers? Because it is a state of consciousness, right? It is saying, I remember this moment, I can do it. So no matter what your story is, right, you can create some form of inspiration. Another thing is getting out, going for a walk, right? If you are in an environment where you're sharing space, get out, go for a walk. I remember I used to go to the local college and just walk at the local college, you know, every single day. And I would just come back and then I would work on my business for a little bit, and then I would go walk some more, listen to a different story. And so my story changed to fit what I was telling myself, the creation that I was making around myself. So be mindful of your environment and how you're keeping that environment. And again, there's another video after this that does go deeper into that, and it was talking about how to create a new reality. So you can learn more about that in that training. But you can become someone new, okay? You could become someone new and you can change your story, change your life, right? But you do have to be mindful of those words. You do have to constantly find inspiration, and you do have to believe that you can. Okay, so you know, again, this has just been part one. You've just learned about pillar one, and that is that personal development, listening to those books, getting those audios, listening to those, engaging with webinars, committing to this process. You're going to learn so much. It's going to be like something you've never done before. Yes, there's all kinds of trainings later on about SEO, target marketing, how to set up your blog and all of that. But we're going to deal with who you are as a person. What is your overall vision in your life? Where are you going in your life? What inspires you? What is your passion all about? You know, and eliminating all excuses to help you refuel, reboot, and get to where you want to be and become the person that you want to be in your life. So in order to do that, you definitely got to take action. All right, so here's what I want you to do in this first step. You know, in these 4 pillars of success, we're on pillar number 1, which is personal development. You've got to take action at the end of this video, right? So in order to do that, I want you to join a library. No, I'm not talking about a physical library, because that is kind of difficult right now. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I'm talking about, you know, clicking that link, getting started with your audio subscription, getting a book by the title that suggests it will help. Again, I do highly recommend you know, the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you've already read it 10 times, but you can't tell me a thing about the book, do it again. That is a lifelong study for me, that book, you know, along with other spiritual books. But that book is a lifelong study. So get that book. Go ahead and get started on that. Make a commitment to this process, right? Make a commitment to this process and just go through these trainings. Don't try to rush through them like lightning speed. Take your time. If all you can do today is listen to this one section, you know, get your audio started, get your audio subscription started. Just write down, I'm committed to making a change in my life. This will be me, right? A committed person, a person who is doing what it takes to change my life, to get my mindset right, to get my passion back, to refuel myself, to get ready to build a dynamic business that's not only going to just be a business about something that's been regurgitated on the internet over and over again, but this is going to be a business about transformation. This is going to be a business about vision, about purpose. This is going to help people transform their lives, right? I'm going to start a movement with my business. I'm going to make a difference with my business. My business will be a living, breathing entity that's not just some dead words on a paper that, you know, I found somewhere on the internet and found a different way to say it, but this is going to be who I am, an extension of me. And if it's going to be an extension of me, then I've got to be great, right? I've got to be great so that I can be a leader, so that I can influence people, so that I can make a difference in people's lives. So I'm going to make the commitment, because if you can't make a small commitment, right, which is finishing this process here that we're going to be going through, and I'm going to be rolling these things out over the next couple of weeks, right? Just start where you are. Like I said, just start with what's there. Make that commitment that you're going to log in every day, even if it is just to do one section of one training a day, and then take the action at the end of that section. If that's all you could do, just take that step and you make that commitment, you're going to see your life change. If you do the work every single solitary day, right, you're going to see your life change. There's no way you can pour positivity, change your story, do the work, and take action over and over and over again and not see any results. And if that has been your case, then it might be because, there's still some blockages in your mentality that's blocking you. You could be afraid to succeed and not realize it. You could still be stuck on your old subconscious programming. That could be an issue. Or it could be just that you're not inspired. You're looking at how everyone else's business is running. You're seeing how everybody else is doing things, and you're trying to copy that, or you're trying to you're trying to fit a circle into a square peg, and it doesn't fit. You don't fit into anyone else's idea of what your business should look like. Your business should look like whatever's inside of you, what you're passionate about, and whatever message that you need to get out to the world. And when you begin to develop yourself and develop who you are, you will get your true followers and you will get your true audience. You won't have people just following you, just looking like, but I'm not sure, because they're not really feeling the passion and the energy from you, because that's not really you. But when you get real with yourself, you get real with who you are, you do this work here, you start listening to these books and audios, and you start going to these, to webinars. And I'm not talking about just all kinds of webinars. I'm saying pick solid stuff like what's in this program. Stick to what's here, what's available to you. And then if you're going to reach out, get you some extra help, do that. But make a commitment. Make a commitment that I'm going to do the work every single day in my life, in my personal life, because that's what we're talking about today, so that I can become a person of influence and have a dynamic business. Okay. So that is what the focus is here. But I do want to say congrats to you, because you have completed Pillar 1 in this training module, right? You should celebrate yourself for even the smallest things, because you have taken the time to invest in yourself. You took a step towards becoming a better you, so that you can make that impact in your business and the impact in this world. Okay, so when you do take one step at a time, one day you will look up and you will be amazed at how far you've come. And so that's why everything is set up the way it is. It's set up to be simple steps, one step at a time. Now you can go on to Pillar 2 after you've taken the action steps in Pillar 1. You can knock out this whole training in one day if that's what you want to do. But you don't have to. If it's overwhelming for you, then you just take it one step at a time. You say, hey, that was great. I'm going to go now and I'm going to sign up for my audio book. I'm going to find a book by the title that suggests it will help. I'm going to write down on a card, I'm committed to the process. And you're going to commit to the process that's going on here. You're going to log in tomorrow. You're going to go to Pillar number 2. You're going to listen. You're going to learn. You're going to do the action steps at the end. So it's up to you. You can breeze through it and just make sure you're taking the action steps though. So if you do it all in one day and you're taking all of the action steps in one day, then great for you. But if you only can do one a day, one little part, and just take the action steps, the most important thing is that you're doing that you're taking the action steps. So if that is you and you're determined and you're committed and you're going to take the action steps, whether you do just this one today and come back tomorrow, or you do them all today, or whatever you decide, I want to congratulate you for completing this training module, for completing this step in the training module, because there's more. There's 4 pillars.